everybody. My name is Sahar. I'm a mental health counselor at Fawzia Sultan Healthcare Network. I have a background in physiotherapy, and at some point I reached a point where I realized the importance of mind and body connection. That's what made me interested in mental health. And now I'm trying to merge physiotherapy and mental health by focusing on chronic pain and helping individuals suffering from chronic pain.
Hi, I'm Chebli. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist at Fawzia Sultan Healthcare Network. I had a lot of experience working with individuals that are suffering from chronic pain, and it was very successful, the therapy with them. So I wanted to learn more about it than I did. And that's why Sahar and I decided to start an initiative, like a support group for individuals that suffer from chronic pain.
We have a guest now, Mrs. Nicola. We are really inspired by her story about chronic pain, and we're going to have a little conversation with her to hear about what she had to go through and how she reached out to mental health providers to help her overcome her pain. Hi, Nicola, how are you?
Hi, I'm really good and I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you.
We're very happy that you could be with us here, and we're appreciating the time that you're giving us to share your experience with us. So thank you.
Of course, I'm really glad that I can share it with you because I hope it can be valuable for others.
So, as you know, we're starting like an initiative to support individuals that suffer from chronic pain in Kuwait. And we are both mental health practitioners. Sahar also has like a physio background, so that's like additionally helpful. And we wanted to learn about your experience, so because we were very inspired by it.
So my experience with chronic pain started in September 2014. When I had a car accident, rather severe car accident, where I broke a lot of bones in my body and a lot of things just didn't go well at the time. And but everything healed rather well. So I just spent several months in hospital, and everything went rather well and rather also quickly, I would say. So like after a year, I was already okay. The only thing which was left was severe pain in my pelvis because I broke my pelvis. And what I found later was that I also, during the crash, I moved, or the tailbone was moved in my body. And I had really big pains, especially while sitting. But I was just waiting because my doctors told me to just wait for the body to adapt, which sounded reasonable at that time. So I was just waiting. But I think somewhere around, let's say, the 2 years limit, I started to be a little worried because I thought that after 2 years, everything should be more or less healed. But the pain still remained the same. It was just so huge and I could not really live with it. Sitting was really not possible, and a lot of things which you do is just while sitting. So for me, that was really uncomfortable and it was really not good for my life. I was a student, so I just had to sit. I had to commute to the school, and I also had to sitting while listening to the teacher and then studying and so on. And also everything, or mostly everything which you do with your social life, like if you go out and you want to go to a restaurant with friends or family, you sit. When you want to go to a cinema or theater, you also sit. So on many levels, it just made me very uncomfortable. And the pain went to a level that I could sit maybe for an hour and a half or two in a day, and then it started to be just a big hell. So after 2 years, I just decided that I would like to do something with it. So I went to the doctors to ask their opinion. And basically what they gave me was that, why are you surprised? The bones were broken, so it just hurts. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not really happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that was, trying to go back to ask for help from the medical field. That was kind of their response.
Well, yes, that was my first hope, that because they told me that it should be fine after some time. So then I went back to them to ask for their help, but they couldn't really provide anything. Like one of the doctors told me that I could try bicycling to make the muscles more strong, to support the body. And they just kind of did not understand that sitting on a bicycle is such a hell that I just can't do it. So I just don't think I found really a bit understanding with the doctors. So then I just decided to look into it on my own, because I just didn't want to live with such a pain. So I started to go to physiotherapists first, and I tried a lot of different therapists. All of them helped me on a certain level, but the pain was still there. So I didn't really know what to do, but I just rolled with it somehow, because that's what my life was at the time. And then once, and it was not related to the pains, but I decided to go for a therapist, to a psychologist, because I had some other problems, and I just felt that that's the right time. And the therapist was just so awesome that even on the first meeting, on the first session, she could see that my mental problems are not so big as my, let's say, trauma from the pain, not just the car accident, but just from the pain, that I'm just so afraid of everything in life. Like I'm afraid of sitting, of traveling, of basically doing everything, because the pain was associated with that. So she started working with this. And for me, it was like a miracle, because after the first session, the pain was gone. And I remember the first moment when I realized that. I was sitting in the car going home, and it was maybe like 2 hours after the session, and I just found out that the pain was gone, and I was just really shocked. And that was the time when I understood that the pain has something to do with my head, and with basically the psychosomatic connection.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. So one of like the latest research on pain, they say that like a large component of how we perceive pain is like the emotion part. So the fear of the pain can actually increase the level of the pain.
Yes, exactly. And in my case, it was really related to the fears, because what I found out, and what also never occurred to me before, was that pain isn't something which is necessarily physical, because what creates pain? Brain creates the pain. So whenever brain thinks that there should be the pain, it just creates it. But because our body and our brain are just so clever, they try to automatize everything. Mm-hmm. So for me, there was actually no reason for the pain, but because my brain automated it so much, and it just thought, okay, when I feel this fear, then there's the right time to start the pain. So because I was just cycling in the fears, then my brain was just creating more and more pain. And once I finally understood that, I could start researching. And it was also not sudden. Like after the first therapy, it disappeared, but it disappeared for some months. And then I had to work for nearly 2 years to really find all the triggers, and to really basically just deleted all the triggers from my brain, and to basically reprogram my brain to think that I don't need the pain anymore.
Yeah. So what you said was actually very interesting, because the function of the pain is to actually indicate danger. So with pain, there's a lot of fear, right? So like we feel the pain because like our brain is telling us, for example, don't cut anymore, you're gonna cut your hand. And when we have like this fear about the pain, just like automatically increases the pain.
Yes. And when the brain is just used to it, then it just creates it automatically.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. And that was something which I just did not know. And I was just very surprised that, let's say, the medical system didn't provide me with such situation. And like even my therapist was really surprised that it worked for me this way. So I just don't think it's something very common in the medical field, also maybe in the psychological field, let's say. But for me, it really made a miracle. So yeah, so I'm just really happy that I could share it at least like this, because maybe there are some people who are experiencing the same, and I just know what the hell it is, and I know the state where you are in your life and you are just stuck, because the only thing you can think of and you can focus on is to how the hell to get rid of this pain, and you can think of nothing else. And for me, that's just not really a good life. It's, let's say, surviving, but you can't really enjoy your life. So I just hope that maybe this could help somebody to also discover that maybe if they are suffering from chronic pain, they could also try to work with their mind and with their brain and the way how it works, because it's all connected.
Thank you. That's very powerful. How did you kind of fight this perception of mental health, or the stigma around mental health, for you to actually go into it and experience it fully?
Well, I would say that for me, it was rather straightforward. I did not feel the stigma in the beginning, because it was just something that helped me after so many years, that I just, let's say, did not care what everybody else thought. I just really wanted to go for it. And basically, during the healing, or after I healed, I started to realize that there's a stigma around it, because I started to talk about it more. I started to talk about it also on my social media. I started to write some articles on my blog. I also created my personal page where I was sharing the experience. And I just found out that first, people don't know a lot about it. And I was really surprised when I realized that also the doctors don't really know much about it. And if they know, they don't really know how to talk to the patients. I actually met one doctor who said that my condition could do something with something psychosomatic. But if somebody tells you that this can be in your mind, what are you going to do with it? Like, if your leg is broken, the doctor also just doesn't tell you, it's with the body, the leg is broken, but they treat you, they tell you now you have to wait, and now you have to like train the muscles, now you have to stretch, and so on and so on. But I did not get anything like that with the advice that it could be something with my mind. So I said, okay. And of course, there's the big stigma that if you have some psychosomatic problems, that you just made it up, or that it's something which is not real. And I just found this really interesting when I found out the thing which I told you about the brain and the pain, that the pain is actually not in the body, but it's created by the brain. And then I just realized, how can somebody say that I just made it up and it's not real? Because then we can say that all the pain is not real because it's just created by the brain. But you are right, there's definitely a stigma around it. And my way was just to, let's say, focus on myself. I also try to talk about it because I think it's really important. And let's say I just don't care that much what other people think about it. I just really want this story and this experience to help somebody. But I get it can be really challenging for somebody. So I think that the way would be just maybe not to talk about it that much, just to really keep it in your personal space. And maybe once you're comfortable about it, you can start sharing it. But I think that your body and your health is your decision, and you have it in your hands, not your doctors, not your therapist. It's about you. Yeah. So you can make the change. So just don't be afraid. Maybe people will think something, whatever, but they are not living with your pain.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
No, I think it's just amazing what you said, because like it's all true. And yeah, whenever we target like a specific area in the body, it's never helpful because the pain is not there, right?
It's true, and the body is all connected. So maybe you have pain, I don't know, in the knee, but the knee is fine. Maybe there's something wrong with your hip, or I don't know, you don't know the proper way of walking because as a child you had some problems, so you just learned it some other way. And I just found this really sad that at least in European medicine, we have a lot of specialists who specialize in just one area, but we don't really have the doctors who would see you as a whole human being and tell you that these things are connected. So actually what you're doing, I found just really fantastic. And I just really hope that you will go for it and you will spread this idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We really hope to do that as well.
Yeah. We really hope that this group would be the initial step to be able to provide a holistic care to an individual with chronic pain, because we know that people do seek medical help and do go to their physiotherapist and are committed to their exercise regimen, but there's always that missing link. So we're hoping that we could raise awareness about the role that mental health also plays when dealing with chronic pain.
And I think it's also really needed when you suffer from chronic pain for several years, some people maybe even for decades, maybe for half of their life or most of their life. I think you really also need the, let's say, support from a therapist, because after you heal from that or while the healing, you start realizing maybe what you lost in your life, how much time you were just in this and you couldn't really do anything. So I think not just the pain, but also suffering from the pain creates a huge trauma. So I really needed to work about this with my therapist, and I still know that this is not okay with me completely, that I still don't really feel okay that this happened with my life, that I just lost maybe 5 to 6 years to just trying to find something which didn't have to be there. Of course, it was my journey, and I'm just really glad that it's gone now and I found it, but it was just hell. And the hell of the chronic pain is that it's, even if it's not huge, I had a huge, some people had it maybe even smaller, but just the feeling that you have it every day and every hour and every minute, and it's just not going away at any point of your life. It's just so dragging, and it just sucks so much of your life energy. So I really hope that that the people who suffer from this also can get, maybe they can't be treated with maybe their pain is just something which is not psychosomatic, but I think even just the therapist help to understand, to just kind of help them relax in it and help them to work with the trauma must be just a huge deal also.
Yeah. So any pain can be just like physical and emotional at the same time, right? Sometimes it can be more the fear, right? But like it's always both. It's never just like physical, or it's never just like emotional.
Yes.
Yeah. And you said something that was actually interesting. Like even the doctors that did kind of guide you, like the way they guided you was very confusing for you. It's like, and sometimes people do that. Sometimes the way they react is very invalidating and it doesn't really direct you anywhere. So they would say something like, it's all in your head, or yeah, this is just in your brain, this is not real. It doesn't really help, right? Hearing that doesn't really help.
Yeah.
I think it makes it even worse, because then you are actually put into the stigma that, okay, I just made up this. But when you live with this for several years, or you are just, if I just made this up, like, why would I do this to myself? So like me, I believe that the intentions of the doctors are good, but really the communication is not good. Like, I remember when the doctor told it to me and I was like, okay, I definitely didn't make it up, but okay, it's his opinion. But even if it's my head, I started to think about it, but okay, what I can do about it. And the doctor didn't lead me like, try this therapist, or just go to the psychologist, or try maybe this medicine for your brain. I didn't get anything of that, and that it was really misleading. And I think it also, for some time, it's just closed the way to me to even try the therapies, to even try to work in the psychosomatic way, because I was just like, no, this is not made up. It's not in my head. It's real. It's definitely in my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that people are not very aware of this mind and body connection, and like even the emotions, we feel them as like something physical. So like same as the pain, it's like physical, and there's like the emotional part as well.
You can't cut it apart. Exactly as you said, even if you, for the people who don't really believe that there's a physical connection between your emotions and your body, just try to imagine when you are scared, right? You always react physically also, like maybe you have some feeling in your stomach. Or for example, for me, when I'm scared or I'm stressed, my shoulders always start to do this, because I'm just trying to make myself small, right? I try to hide myself. When you're happy, you just the opposite. You start to open, you start to glow. So all the emotions are in your body. So it's just you can't really cut a line like this is body and this is mind. And I also, now when I know about all of this, I'm like, how did we ever think that mind and body are two different things? Because my mind is also in my body. My mind can't exist in my body. And if my body didn't have the mind, it would be just like, it wouldn't even like be able to move. It would just also die on its own.
No, even when we think about it, like when we take pain medication, the pain medication doesn't act, for example, on the hand, it acts on the brain.
Yes, so, exactly.
Even that kind of connection to the meaning.
But again, maybe people just don't know about it because we are just not educated about it. Like if you are not a medical specialist, would you know how the painkiller really works? Maybe no.
Yeah. And I think one thing that we really want to focus on in our group is this education element of pain generally, to really understand that when we say the pain is in the mind, we are not invalidating that the pain is there. We know that the pain is real, trying to understand how the mind is producing all of this pain, because I think the first step to understanding the mind and body connection is to acknowledge the role that the mind also plays.
Yeah, that's true. And now when we're talking about it, I'm realizing that also rather helped me to understand like what is happening, because before that I just thought that my pelvis hurts, so the pain is in my pelvis. And after I realized that, I also started to be more open to like also work on different parts of the body. So when my pelvis hurts, maybe there's something wrong with my thighs, or maybe there's something wrong with my belly, or maybe my muscles are too tight. And I just started to open also to that. So I just basically stopped thinking about the body as like one part, but I started to connect everything. And really, when I did my research about the pain and the brain connection, about the pain and the brain and the body connection, it was for me really surprising that I had to dig really deep, because I maybe spent like 2 weeks on Google and all the research and YouTube and like listening to everybody to find out what is happening actually. So it was really hard to find the information. I found like I was a researcher on pain, which I think it should be a general knowledge, right? Like how pain actually works. So that was also surprising for me. But once I found out, it really helped me. So I think, even just understanding how the pain works will help also.
And sometimes it's also about like reframing the pain. So a lot of time we have this frustration about the pain, like fear about the pain, but like the pain's function is just like to tell us like, just be careful, right? Like if you broke your ankle, like just don't run, because you're gonna break it even more. So
Yes, and the thing is also, once you are stressed about the pain, it doesn't really help because the muscles get stretched and the pain will even increase.
Yeah.
So even just understand that maybe just relaxing you will help a lot. Maybe just letting it be and maybe just accept that the pain is there. That on its own can help, not maybe disappear, but just lower the pain.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful journey with us. It's definitely inspiring, and we hope that it would inspire others to take this step as well.
Thank you so much that I could share it with you. And I'm so grateful that I could, because I think it's really important. And this is the least I can do just to share. So I have the same hope as you. This will help others. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.